Last week, I posted a video about my experience buying my first ever Rolex and what it taught me about self-worth. And safe to say, it was the most viral video I had ever made on YouTube. Thousands of views, lots of likes, and a boatload of very split comments. But the thing that I was most proud of from that video was not how well it performed, but it was the sheer amount of comments and DMs that I received on people complimenting my speaking ability. People were saying that I was very well spoken, I was smooth, I was calm, I knew what I wanted to talk about and stayed on topic. But there's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, and then it's only a few years ago I was speaking with a really bad lisp and I sounded completely different. I lacked the confidence, I didn't know how to project my voice, and it often sounded like I was whispering to the camera. So I'm gonna play a video of what I used to sound like only 6 years ago.
I've had one of the best life experiences this past week. It's just been filled with learning. Some of these things just blowing my mind.
So as you can tell, the difference between that video and now is night and day. And there was one specific exercise that I did that was able to help me make this transformation. And it actually started a year before that video in 2018. At the time, I was 18 years old. I was dating what I believed at the time was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. And at that age, you think that any girlfriend you get is the love of your life, you're destined to be together. Safe to say, I was head over heels for this girl. But after 7 months of dating, one day out of the blue, everything just changed. She would ignore my text, she would avoid me in person, and it felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. It didn't take me long to realize that the reason she broke things off was because at 18, I didn't have any money, and I didn't have any ambition, and she was worried about her future. And this was heavily peddled by a generally Christian sentiment to get married very young. So understandably, she was thinking about the bigger picture at such a young age. For me though, it meant I was 18 years old, broken heart, broke as a joke, and I had nobody to turn to. And so every day, I would turn on my voice memos and just talk to myself. I would talk about how much pain I was feeling, how much betrayal I was feeling, how hopeless I was. And after a while of doing this, I developed this habit for always turning on my voice memos to just let my thoughts flow. What started off as just rants or needing to vent turned into actually trying to find a solution with myself on my voice memos. And so my practice would be, I would start the first part of the voice memo just talking out my emotions, allowing myself to feel whatever I was feeling in that particular day. And then the second part of that voice memo was all about finding the solution. I would not allow myself to finish that voice memo until I had a concrete plan ahead. If I was feeling bad about, man, I have no job opportunities, no one's hiring, okay, I'm gonna do this next. I'm gonna apply to this job instead. And we're gonna see how it goes. And we'll come back tomorrow. And so this protocol started to be instilled every single day for me. And we go days, weeks, months of talking to myself. And in the space of 2 years, I had racked up over 5 gigabytes of just me talking to me. In fact, I do this to this day so often that I have another 10 gigabytes of just me and my voice memos. And when I scroll through my voice memos app, this is made up of hundreds of hours of talking and talking and talking. And when you do something so much, you eventually start to get really good at it. Throughout the years, my lisp went away. I was able to enunciate my words clearer. I didn't speak from my throat, I was speaking from my diaphragm. I was able to project more. That led to more confidence. And more importantly than that, if I was training myself to talk for 30 minutes, an hour every day without stopping, I was really good at taking one topic, expanding on it for different angles, staying on point, and never missing a beat. And so these days, my clients ask me now, how do I learn how to get better at speaking? How can I speak more fluently like you do? I'm gonna show you the exact exercise I gave them. It's a much more structured version of what I used to do for myself. And instead of it taking 30 minutes to an hour a day, it's only gonna take you 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're watching this video and you're saying, yeah, I want to learn how to speak better on camera, or speak better to clients, or be able to persuade people better, it all comes down to how you communicate, how strong your argument is, how fluent you are. And there's nothing that can help you do that except daily practice. So I'm going to show you what I showed them that's helped them dramatically improve their speaking ability, and that helped me make my transformation. So here I have a Notion doc called How to Speak Fluently and Confidently. I'm going to leave the link to this below. You can access it completely free. There's no email opt-in or anything like that. And you can see here, we break this down into 3 phases. The first phase is really easy. All you want to do is go ahead and pick one topic to talk about. This could be a story of your day, an animated story, maybe you make up something. One of the best exercises to do is just pick up an object and try and tell a story about that object. Improvise, right? This could also be shifting your mood or your state. Again, if you have a bad day, things don't go well, you're trying to figure out the solution to a problem that you're facing, that could be the topic, okay? Decide on your objective. Are you trying to entertain? Are you trying to shift your emotions? Are you trying to empower yourself? What is the objective? Every story you tell, every time you get in the camera or you have a voice memo, there needs to be a purpose to it. This is where in the past my voice memos were kind of unstructured, was I would just speak and speak and speak. And while it did help, there was no point to it necessarily. It was only after I made an intention clear that by the end of that voice memo, I will have a solution. That's when all of my practice started to really pay off. So you have to have an objection here. Next part is you want to record a voice memo just for 3 minutes. Only test yourself for 3 minutes. Eventually we'll scale up the time, but 3 minutes is so easy. You've got 3 minutes in your day. You can do it right after this, okay? And all you want to do is talk continuously on your chosen topic. All right, if this is a topic, I'm going to talk about the bad thing that happened in my day. The objective, I'm going to find a solution. Bang. Problem for 1 minute, solution for 2 minutes. That's how you just want to rip it, okay? Next one, and this is the most important part. You need to replay your voice memo. This is where all the learning happens. This is the same reason why for athletes, or when people are preparing for a boxing match, for example, they don't just practice themselves. They review tapes of the greats and review tapes of their mistakes as well as their opponents. You learn more from your own self-review. So this whole exercise isn't just about ripping voice memos all day. It's reviewing your memo. And all you want to do here is look for the times that you stuttered, or you had ums and ahs, or any awkward pauses. The idea here is take note of this stuff. Be aware of what causes you to stutter. When do you lose your train of thought? And then you want to repeat your voice memo 3 minutes again until you're fluent and smooth. This doesn't have to be on that exact day, although you can do double practice. It's more for the next day. You want to keep repeating 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes until there are no more stutters. You don't get off track. You're fluent and confident. That is the idea. Once you can get 3 minutes down, you're ready for more. So then go 5 minutes, right? Same rules apply. Fluent, confident, no stutters, okay? Once the 5 minutes are done, replay, review until you're perfect. Now you're ready for phase 2. And phase 2 looks like just increasing the time. 10 minutes, once again, stay on point, speak with emotion. This is where we really want to introduce upward and downward inflections. Your tonality indicates the emotion. How much passion are you speaking with? If you're trying to prove a point, is it up here or are we whispering? This is where you want to start to add on some layers to your speech. Emotion is important here. And again, this is all done through the voice memo. You don't need to set up a camera like this. You don't need to increase the difficulty of your production quality and add friction to this practice. Just have the voice memo. You can do this in your car, on the commute to and from work, whatever the case might be, okay? And then once again, increase to 15, 20 minutes. Why? When you're making YouTube content, or if you're talking to clients on your calls, you're not just speaking to them for 5-10 minutes. You might need to solve a series of their problems. That's not going to be done in 5 or 10 minutes. The 15-20 minute mark is the sweet spot. That covers most calls with clients. It covers most long form YouTube videos. If you can speak for 15-20 minutes smooth, confident, no stuttering, then you're on the money. The add-on here is now we want to start introducing projection. You can actually feel it when you speak. When you're speaking with projection, you kind of feel your chest vibrating almost. That's how you know you're speaking well from your diaphragm. You're projecting. You will notice that when you're speaking more in your throat, you start to get tired. Your voice sounds very small, very airy, but you don't want that to be the case. You want to feel the power coming from this region, okay? Next part here, focus on 3 key elements while you're speaking. This is the stuff that you always want to have as your North Star. Your tonality, it has to be engaging, not flat. Too often I see people talk very monotone. And the only people that are going to listen to that are people that are deeply interested in that one topic. But if you want to put the odds in your favor, increase your chances of resonating with more people, you have to include tonality. That's just how it is. You have to sound like a human. Of course, no stuttering, no filler words, and again, project from your diaphragm. If you keep that as your North Star, you will notice yourself improve your speaking ability by leaps and bounds. And the final stage here, this is where you really get set for YouTube content for coaching calls, is after you've done phase 1 and 2 with your voice memos, you want to transition to video. It's the same deal here, right? We keep all the same stuff. You can do a selfie camera. You can do what I'm doing here, where it's kind of, you're just looking at the back of the camera. I don't actually know what I look like here. I'm just staring at one of the lenses, whichever way makes you feel more comfortable. And the last one here, speak with conviction and confidence. You don't want to speak and almost sound like you're second guessing yourself. You want to speak as though you are giving a command downhill, right? You actually want to believe what you're talking about. And in terms of the duration here, just 3 to 5 minutes. And you can literally repeat this whole thing. We start off 3 to 5 minutes, talk confidently, then scale up, scale up, scale up. And for me, this is how I was able to learn how to speak for hours on end with just dot points, no scripts, and not get lost in the sauce. Stay on track, be able to persuade people in mass. And it came from actions like this. It came from these daily practices. For me, my voice memos is the #1 thing I use almost every day, still to this day. Like I showed you, even recently, there's still 10 gigabytes plus of voice memos, not including the stuff I recorded on my iPad or on YouTube or in videos. Just from voice memos alone, 10 plus gigabytes, right? For me, I use it to plan out modules, to solve problems. And for you, if the only thing that you want to improve is your speaking ability, this is going to do wonders. So that is a story of how I went from speaking with a lisp, very, very low confidence, to now speaking and sounding like this. So take this practice. Again, you have the link in the description, completely for free. Go through practices, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments on how your practice went, how much improvement you've been making. So I'll leave this here. Catch you guys later.